spring. It's spring. I haven't been able to wear this for a year. I could use it for garments if they were white. Listen, I wanted to do another video today because I'm in the mood. And the Mormons are too. I have seen an increase of probably 25 to 30% hate mail from Mormons. Now, here's what and I'm going to tell you, I have a master's degree. You know that, almost 2 master's degrees, and in psychology and human beings. Here's what I kind of want to present to you. If you're a pretty confident person, like let's say that you climbed Mount Everest by yourself 10 times, and some asshole comes up to you and goes, I don't think that's such a big deal. 10 times is not. You go, well, how many times did you climb it? Well, I've never climbed it, but I know. That is the Mormon philosophy. People will write to me, but they never give specifics. You're a liar. Okay, give me one specific thing that I've said that's a lie. I never erase my comments. The Mormons, they withdraw. They say hateful things, and they go, oh shit, the Holy Ghost told me to withdraw. So I never delete any of my comments. So the Mormons are inclined to say hateful, mean things and then go, oh shit, now it's public. I better go back and fix it. I'm supposed to, what would Jesus do? I don't think Jesus would write to me. I'm trying to think. Every one of them, nearly every one of them says, you don't know what you're talking about. Okay. Well, I was in the Mormon church for 50 years. I have 14 kids. I worked in the Mormon temples. I've been in elders quorum presidency. I've been in a stake presidency, executive secretary in Connecticut. And I've certainly sent 2 kids on a mission. I graduated from BYU. I took every BYU religion course in the world. I've taught elders quorum for years and years. I've read all of the standard works of the church 2 or 3 times, and I have certainly read the Journal of Discourses and the Church History by B.H. Roberts. I've been to every place that Joseph Smith has been, except in the bed where he was with 2 14-year-olds in the mansion house. I had to stand outside the room in the mansion house. I could just go down the hall, and they had a rope there, and you could see the teddy bears of the 14-year-olds on his bed in the mansion house. So people say, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. I've been to Sacred Grove. I've been in Liberty Jail. Of course, I know everything about downtown Salt Lake City, and I was married in Salt Lake Temple. I was married in Manti Temple. I was married in Washington, D.C. Temple. How much more experience do I need for the Mormons to go, you don't know what you're talking about? And I'm only talking about things that happen to me. I'm not saying this happens to every Mormon. I'm just giving you the edification of what it did to me. Now, maybe it's not doing this to everybody. Maybe the 100,000 a year that are resigning and all of the people that are angry at the Mormons, that had nothing to do with me. You know, this is my own little program, and it's for my therapy. And I'm seeing about 20 or 30% more hits now with Mormons. Now that Mitt Romney is getting closer and closer to getting his garments in a twist, the Mormons are coming out like cockroaches. And they change names, not to protect the innocent, but to protect the guilty. They'll hit you 2 or 3 times with different names. And when you look at their channel, someone told me it's called a suck. No, it's not suck. It should be a suck puppet channel. It's a suck puppet channel, which means it's not really a channel. It's just a person that doesn't want to be identified. They don't want anything to do except writing me a note and says, I wish you were dead. Well, you know, I wish I was dead 10 years ago, but your God saved me. See that scar? Quad bypass. Your God saved me. Jesus said, do those damn tapes, David. There's too many people that don't understand why you wanted to die. Why you tried to die 5 times. Being a Mormon, it's miserable for me. For me. Now, Mitt Romney, he thinks it's a cool thing. Maybe it's because he's got millions and I've only got 1 million. No, I don't have that. So anyway, I'm getting a lot of hits that say, you know, your family's ugly. Your wife is ugly. And I said, yeah, but she's very, very rich. So I don't think she's ugly, but anyway, your kids are brown. Yeah, they are, and I threaten to slap the brown off them all the time when they act up. And oh God, I've had 2 or 3. Hope you die. There's a place for you. I go, I know, and it's not the Mormon Church. Believe me, it's not the Mormon Church. So, anyway, I just wanted to let you know that things are kind of quiet. Now, there's Richard, I think his name is Richard Pakman, Packman, did a wonderful article on the temple and the secrets of the Mormon faith. And it's a fabulous article if you get a chance. Now, here's where it went. Yahoo invited him as a contributor to put it on their website. Well, it's had international exposure now, and thousands of comments and hits, maybe into the millions, I don't know. But he came back on one of our websites and he said, hey, you know, I tried to just tell the truth, but the Mormons are ganged up on me and they're calling me names and hitting me with hundreds or thousands of hits. Could you give me a little help? And sure enough, for the first time, we non-Mormons, ex-Mormons, gathered together our group, and we went right into Pakman's article and just kept hitting it and hitting it and hitting it, just like the Mormons do. If it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. And I didn't hide my name. I didn't hide, you know, who it was. I wasn't changing names like the Mormons do. And finally, those of us who have been burned by the Mormon Church outnumbered those in the cult that could just keep writing in. And the Mormons tried to take that article down on Yahoo, and to my knowledge at this moment, it's still there. It's still there. So the Mormons are very used to ganging up, kind of like, I don't know, ants, I guess. When there's a dead body, all the ants pile on, and it seems like there's millions of them, and there's not really. There's not. And the Mormons are so organized. They have no life. They have no sex life. They can't go anywhere. All their money went to the Mormon Church, and they can't afford to shop in the temple anymore. And the movie at the temple for the endowment hasn't changed in 50 years, so it's boring. So they got nothing to do but get on the computer and watch people like me and go, he's terrible. There's a place for him. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And yet not one Mormon, I've got almost, it's coming up on 40,000 hits here, 2 or 3 shy of 40,000. Not one Mormon has said, well, here's the truth. Joseph didn't marry any 14-year-olds. Helen Mar Kimball and Nancy Winchester don't exist. And I'll say, well, you go look at the genealogy sheet in the Mormon Church on the web. It's in your own websites. So there hasn't been one comment that I've made a lie, or I made an exaggeration, or I don't know what I'm talking about. I have more kids than any Mormon that is writing in here, except FLDS. They may have 30 kids. I got 14 damn kids. I've sent 2 on a mission, like I said. I graduated from BYU, and I was an active member of the cult for over 50 years. I know something about the Mormon Church. These kids that write in that are 27, 28, you don't know what you're talking about. Well, you know what? They need to read their history. They need to read the history of the Mormon Church and learn that I do know what I'm talking about. And I'm just saying, if you like the Mormon Church and you want to spend that money that way, go for it. Now, here's what I want to end with, and I'm going to use a little of my education on this. If the guy who climbed to Mount Everest 10 times and did it by himself and was successful, and you get some asshole at the bottom comes up and he says, what'd you do? What's so good? Well, I climbed up there 10 times. Oh, that's nothing. That's nothing. I could go up there right now 10 times right in a row. Well, that's the Mormons, okay? People who have self-confidence, and it takes a while. Now, maybe some of you do. I didn't have a lot of self-confidence when I was young because I had so much to lose. I had a job, I had family, I had children, and the church was looking over me, and I felt like in a fishbowl. I didn't have any self-confidence, and that's why I was probably a good member of the Mormon Church. It gave me some confidence that I was part of something bigger than myself. Well, little did I know that I was bigger than the part that I bought into. So in my old age, I have learned that if you're comfortable in your own skin and in your own philosophy, your own body, your own morality, and someone comes up to you and goes, you know, you go, hey, you look a little silly, but, you know, do what you want. The Mormons are always looking for a fight. They don't have any other mode. They have life, death, fight. There's 3 modes to a Mormon: life, death, fight. If you are comfortable, you've done your research, you've done your studies, you've sat back and you've given it, I was going to say prayerful thought. Oh my God, I was reverting. If you sat back and gave it some study and some wisdom and put it all together, you get to a point in life, and maybe it's part of old age, that you don't give a rat's ass what people say. I don't care if you don't like this shirt. Screw you. Especially the Mormons. I'm trying to... Where's my garments? Oh, shit. You get to a point in life... Now, see, I always say this. I have no friends. This phone rings only... I'm doing a video. And I'm just going to go ahead. You know, I think it's Monson from City Creek. Hello. No, is this President Monson? I'm on the video right now. I saw you there at City Creek cutting the ribbon. I just wondered if I could get a discount with a temple recommend. Speak at the mall, the opening? Even if I'm gay, I could show up. Monson, you're a guy that's ahead of your time. Did you ever get Packer? Oh, this isn't President Monson? Who is this? Oh, Joseph Smith, you've risen again. We have no 14-year-old here, so I've got to go back to my video. Look somewhere else. Go to the junior high. You'll find 14-year-olds there. Bye. I never have my phone ring. It was Joseph Smith. If you're confident who you are and what you've done and what you say, when people make fun of you, you go, so what? I don't care. And Mormons, the reason that they are so angry, the reason that they're trying to convert all of the people that are alive and all the people that are dead, because the dead people can't say no to them, is they're not comfortable in their own skins. They're not sure. They're just not sure that the church is true. They have their doubts. But if people keep crowding into the malls and into the churches and keep paying their tithing, it's got to be true. So their individual low self-esteem is propped up from the outside, from the events. Look at the beautiful stake center. Look at the temples. Look at this. Look at that. It's not them. It's other things that the corporation has built. So if you have good self-esteem, you're not going to be LDS. You're just not. You're going to be a person, if you're LDS, that has some real questions about your place in the world and how you interact. Now, I come on here, and you can see me even when I dress up. You can see, if you saw me on the street, you know, that'd be scary. But you can see me. I'm not invisible. I am transparent. The Mormons aren't. They just sneak on the computer. Oh, son of Satan, son of Satan. I'm going to say something to get Jesus points. Because they want to feel better about themselves. Why don't, you know, it's like the Quakers. I know Richard Nixon was a Quaker. I've been through Pennsylvania there and seen the Quakers and the Amish and a few other of those closed communities. I would not call them a cult. I would call them closed communities. Those are the most pleasant, the most reasonable, and most kind people I've ever come across. They don't knock on your door. They don't ask strangers to pay 10% of their income. You don't have to swear that their church is wrong and now you're going to be a Mormon. They're quiet, peaceful, delightful people. They have some rules with their beards and they dress a little funny and some of them don't have electricity. How does that hurt me? How does that hurt me? Now, if they came out knocking on my door and going, hey, you need to get rid of your electricity and your YouTube, and I say, why? I say, well, because we're not sure we're the true church, and we don't want you going out there and saying that stuff. So in summary here, what I'm saying, and I'm doing it with a master's degree, if a human being has self-confidence, they're not going to join a cult, not in a million years. Human beings who are well-adjusted, who are knowledgeable, who are educated, will look at golden plates delivered by an angel, and then the angel takes them away so everyone can have faith that the plates really existed. A normal human being is going to go, well, that's not for me. I don't believe it. You can believe it if you want. I just don't believe it. Well, now you're an anti-Mormon. See, now the Mormons feel they have to fight. They have to fight you because they are right. This reminds me of the little kids in elementary school. My dad can beat your dad up. No, my dad's a policeman. He could beat you up. This is the mentality of these cultish LDS people who have no self-esteem. They can say to me all they want. I guess because I'm mature. I guess because I'm satisfied with who I am. I'm very happy with my life. I have everything I've ever wanted, except Marie Osmond's panties. If any of you can get me one of those, that'd be my last wish. You could throw that on my face when I go down on the coffin. But anyway, I'm a happy person. And I'm content. My kids do well in school. My wife does well. I do well. We have nice things. And we have places to go, things to do. My health is excellent. I keep going to the doctor, hoping that they'll find skin cancer. And the other day, she just looked at me. She says, "You're normal." And you're the only person that's ever said that in 50 years. So anyway, my skin's normal. And I should go get a colostomy. A colonoscopy, not a colostomy. A colostomy is a little bag that sticks on here and the shit just runs off and you change the bag. My grandma had one of those. But anyway, I haven't had anything stuck up my butt for a long time. I resigned from the Mormon church. So a colonoscopy is not going to bother me a bit. There's got to be something that's going to kill me. But anyway, Jesus has kept me alive. And I'm telling you, if you have confidence, you can sit down quietly and say to a person, I just don't see it. I don't agree. And they shouldn't attack you. If they're sure it's true, then they should say, well, that's okay. Hey, if you're happy, that's okay. And you go on. But God, they just hit you and hit. You don't know. You didn't read the Book of Mormon. You're not paying enough tithing. You're not wearing your clothes. And they force you to believe the way they believe. Well, some of us grew up, and some of us have some maturity, and people can come to me all the time. I had one guy down in Olive Garden at the restaurant the other day. Shit. I can be an asshole. I don't know if any of you have ever thought that. Probably not. We went in, excuse me, and the girl said, two, and I said yes. And my wife, I'm just a little big. She said, well, two. I said, okay. So, and she says, could I get a name on that? And I said, yes, it's Joseph Smith. And she started smiling, but the guy beside her, he was about 700 pounds. I mean, I looked like a string bean next to this clown. If he had he'd been an elephant. But you could see his garments coming through his white shirt. He didn't think it was funny. Yes. And Mormons don't. They don't have any sense of humor. If you make fun of a Mormon or their doctor, oh my God, the devil. So he couldn't say much because it was a public place and he was being paid a salary with my money. So I said to the girl, I said, yeah, Joseph Smith. And she says, do you want us to call you that? And I said, yes. I said, I'm thinking of creating my own church, and I need a top hat and a seer stone, and I wanted to know if you had any 14-year-olds in here that might be available for marriage. Well, I thought the guy was going to shit right there in front of Olive Garden. And he hated me. I'm just making a little joke about his history. The history is true. How I see it is different than the way he sees it. I give him his space. He can believe it all that he wants. But you know what? So can I. So can I. So he got the menus and he says, come this way. I thought we were going into outer darkness the way he was speaking. So my wife, she starts walking out with him. And just before I left the little lady up front, I went to her and I said, that guy's LDS and he's pissed. And she's just laughing and laughing. So when I caught up with the guy, he says, what did you say to her? See? What did you say to her? I said, well, it was confidential. Oh. See? That's the way they are. They don't have any confidence. They think people are talking behind their backs, which I was. They're paranoid. If you know who you are, if you know what you want, you know what your strengths are and your weaknesses are, when somebody says to me, oh, your children have brown skin, I say to myself, now see, that person thinks that's an insult. Those two little girls were almost dead in the Philippines when I adopted them. A little one, Allison, she was in a hospital with typhoid. And I fed them and I brought them here and I adopted them. And they're A students now. They speak fluent English. And when he says that, I compare what I've done and what he says. I don't care if he says it. It's on there. Go look. You can go look at all of my comments. They're on there. I don't erase comments. It was his opinion, but it didn't affect my opinion of who I am, how I spent my money in my retirement. And, you know, an hour with the baby, the big baby, 13-year-old, today about her track record, and she's doing this and that. And, you know, if you know who you are, sit down and make peace with yourself. I'm an atheist. I don't believe there's a God. I think this is a genetic soup that we're all wrapped up in. That's okay. But I'm still a good person. I can still go out to lunch with you, have a drink, you know, go skiing, go to Disneyland, go on a cruise ship, whatever you want to do. You can be a Quaker, you can be a Mennonite, you can be anything you want, but it doesn't change me. I know who I am. I know what I want. And I love sitting in front of this camera and having my therapy session. Some of you watch it. 40,000 of you pretty much have. I'm sure you've laughed yourself to death thinking, look at that fat old guy now. He's got the stupid shirt on. It's dementia. It's totally dementia. But anyway, I love the comments that I get that encourage me. I don't need them. I did this expecting no one to watch it. When I started this little program, I was sure no one was going to watch it. And yeah, I'm a little delighted that 40,000 people go, oh, look at him. That's kind of a compliment, but it doesn't drive me. If I got 0 hits from this point forward, I'm not going to change. I'm just going to produce. Every time I think something's funny, or every time I think the Mormons have pulled another, you know, jolly cone circus act, I'm going to report it. So I'm motivated from within. I'm motivated. I'm not afraid to die. I'm not afraid of the Mormons. And they're afraid of themselves. They're afraid of their own testimonies. They're afraid of the internet. And you know what? They should be. They should be. So thanks. Appreciate you.